Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 964A, and today's date is May 6, 2016, and the title of the episode is Obama is Dancing as Fast as He Can as the Economy Collapses. Let's get right into the economic collapse financial news. Now, we had some economic information come out today, and it doesn't look good. The economy is not doing well. Anyone surprised about this? Most likely not. And what we're seeing right now is that Obama is out there and he's trying to explain away why the economy is not doing well. Of course, he's doing this in the same year that he told us the economy is doing absolutely fantastic. And anyone that doesn't believe him is peddling fiction. Now, I know that term has been used quite a bit, but think about what he's been saying in this year, that the economy is doing well. Now, we've been tracking the economy every single day, showing from all the economic indicators. We're not just looking at the stock market. We're looking at GDP, unemployment. We're looking at rail traffic, freight traffic, retail, housing, manufacturing, Baltic Dry Index, putting all of it together to paint a picture of what this economy is really doing. And what is it really doing? It is collapsing right in front of our faces. Now, he's out there blaming everyone else that, infrastructure projects, all of this other stuff. No, the problem is the central bank created this economy. They created an entire bubble with manipulated information from the government. And they did it so the elite, the wealthy, got wealthier. And the rest of the people, what happened there? All the people suffered. They lost their jobs. They lost their homes. All the jobs are out of this country. Nobody can find jobs right now. Retail is contracting. The housing bubble is coming down. The main problem is the government, is the central bank. They're the ones who caused all of this and made it a lot worse. So he's out there, and we've seen this before. In 2008, when they came out during the spring and summer telling us that everything's contained, everything is fine, don't worry about it. Housing never goes down. We're not forecasting any type of recession. Here we are once again. They're doing the same exact thing. And we've been tracking and looking at all the information, and what we've been seeing is that this economy is declining and declining very fast. And it's not going to improve. It's going to get worse as time goes on. But like I said, look at certain indicators. Look at gold. We've had a small little suppression. Gold now has risen once again. This is something we need to watch, because think about it. When gold starts getting around $15, $16, $17, $2,000 an ounce, people are going to take notice. What do you think is going to happen at that point? People are going to say, whoa, wait a minute, what's going on here? Is the value of the dollar declining that quickly? Is the manipulation over? Should I take my money out of the stock market and put it into hard assets? And this is what people are going to do. They're going to do this. Now, very interestingly, a listener emailed me. I'll only say his first name, Marvin. Marvin, thank you very much for pointing this out. And if you look at the U.S. debt clock, and that's usdebtclock.org, the bottom right-hand corner, it shows gold and silver back in 1913, how much they were per ounce. And it shows the current value of gold and silver today using the M2 money supply and the devaluation of the currency. And what they're reporting at this point in time, and I don't know how accurate, it's probably very close actually, but they're saying that silver is around $779 per ounce, and gold is around $7,000 or so per ounce. Now think about this. Today, they're telling us that gold is around $1,290, and silver is around $17 or $18 per ounce. So at this point, you can see that they are on sale. Now we know that Deutsche Bank, Nova Scotia, USB, and many other banks are all in manipulating gold and silver. And we know the central bank, they're controlling the entire manipulation. When this manipulation breaks and when people start to realize that gold and silver are worth a lot more than they're stating today, you will not be able to get it. Now, I don't sell gold or silver or anything like that. I'll tell you where I get mine. I have no relationship to them whatsoever. I get mine at American Precious Metal Exchange. And I've been using them for many, many years. At this point, I would suggest getting some gold and silver before it is too late. Now, out in Germany, what we are seeing is that all the bailouts that Greece has been getting, they have been going to the banks. About 95% of the bailouts, about 220 billion euros, went to the banks, creditors. Only 5% ended up in the state coffers, went to the people. And this is coming from a study by the European School of Management and Technology. And what we're seeing right now is this is how it is in every country. They put them into debt, and they stay in debt because they have to pay all the interest back to the creditors, back to the banks, and the people, they get absolutely nothing. Well, what they do get is they get more debt. They get less jobs. They get a devaluing currency. And it does not work out for the people. Now, here in the United States, we got some numbers today. We got the payroll numbers, and the payroll numbers only rose about 160,000, far below the 200,000 that are expected. Now, we understand there were a lot of layoffs going on right now, and I think it was very difficult for the government to manipulate these numbers the way they really would like to. And we see that the unemployment rate has stayed at around 5%. They thought it was going to drop to 4.9%, but don't worry, they're going to revise, manipulate, and they're going to try to get this under 5% any way they possibly can. I wouldn't be surprised if the next go around they bring it down to 4.8% right before the elections to make it look really, really good. Now, the number of Americans not in the labor force, it has soared to 562,000 in April, pushing the grand total of people not in the labor force over 94 million. And it's approaching the all-time highs when we're reaching 94.6 million once again. And what's happening right now is that a lot of companies are continually laying off, and we're starting to see that the manipulation, it's getting harder and harder for the government to keep up with all of this. Now, the participation rate in April is now 62.8%. And this is not good. This is telling us that all these people that are losing the jobs, they're not finding the same high quality paying jobs. A lot of them maybe are, if they're lucky, finding the low paying jobs, but most of them are out of the labor force. And this is why when we looked at all the information, a lot of the government statistical information compared to what we've been looking at, it doesn't make sense. Now, we already know the quantity of the April jobs, which was very disappointing. But what about the quality? And in April, what we're seeing is that retail dropped quite a bit. Construction dropped quite a bit. And what increased? Professional business services. And what that is temp help. And that saw a 56,000 increase in April. So we're seeing a lot of temp help. We're seeing everything else decline. And manufacturing is not doing well whatsoever. And at this point, what we're seeing is that since December of 2014, the U.S. has added just under 450,000 waiters and bartenders and no manufacturing workers. This is not a good sign. This will not help the economy whatsoever. And this is why Obama, he's trying to explain what is happening here. Now, when we look at the Class 8 truck orders, because we looked at the rail traffic, we look at the air freight, all declining. We mentioned the Class 8 truck orders once before. Well, they are plunging by 39%. The heavy-duty truck orders, they are declining. Last month, trucking fleets ordered just around 13,500 Class 8 trucks. The big rigs used on long-haul routes, down 16% from March and 39% from a year earlier. It was the fewest net orders in April since 2009. We are back to that area And we are seeing that all of this is trending downward. Loads available for dry vans. Now, what that is, these are the most common type of tractor trailers used for shipping like consumer goods and things like that. They fell by 28% in April. Now, engine maker Cummins said on Tuesday it doesn't expect any improvement in the truck market later in the year. It now expects heavy-duty truck production in North America to be about 210,000 vehicles this year, down 5% from its earlier view, down 28% from 2015's actual volume. So what does this all mean? Orders are down, and sales will follow sharply. This does not look good. It is getting worse and worse as we move throughout this year. The Baltic Dry Index has dropped another 11 points. It is down to 631. Now, another indicator to let us know that the economy is not doing well is corporate tax receipts. And when we look at the corporate tax payments, they mirror the many signs of a slowing economy that have recently emerged. And what we're seeing right now is that corporate tax receipts are once again declining. And we're seeing that the corporate taxes, by contrast, haven't even made it back to the 2007 peak. So what are we seeing right now? Corporate tax receipt data are apparently a good leading indicator of economic downturns, which we're seeing right now. And the stock market's valuation and the real economy have drifted apart quite a bit. And we see that the U.S. statistical numbers that they're throwing at us, that is also drifting apart from reality. So what we're seeing right now is the reality of what the economy is really doing is rearing its ugly head, and the statistical information, the propaganda that the government is continually throwing at us doesn't even make sense anymore. Now, the number of Americans that are renouncing their citizenship, it just keeps going up and up and up. We see that another 1,158 Americans, they have renounced their citizenship in the first quarter of 2016. The trend is continually moving up, and more people are saying, you know something, I can't be paying double taxes. I'm going to have to renounce my citizenship, and this is exactly what we're seeing. We're also seeing that the credit cycle has begun to unravel. One of the big indicators of the end of the credit cycle is the number of bankruptcies. And we know there were a lot of retail stores that were filing bankruptcies, but we are seeing bankruptcies in all kinds and sizes and in wide variety of sectors, and they are soaring. Total U.S. commercial bankruptcy filings in April, they rose by 3% from March and soared 32% from a year ago. And this is coming from the American Bankruptcy Institute. It was the 6th month in a row, year over year, that we've seen increases. Of these commercial bankruptcies in April, 680 were Chapter 11 filings, up 67% year over year. The rest were liquidations, and the pace is quickening at this point. In just 1 month, from 450 in March, Chapter 11 filings have skyrocketed 51%. And when we look at all of these different economic indicators, when we put them all together, it paints a picture. It shows us what's going on. It tells us that the economy is quickly deteriorating. And we see Obama, we're going to be seeing the Fed, we're going to see the propaganda from the corporate media. They're going to be out there screaming and yelling, trying to convince you that the economy is still doing well, that this is normal when you see this slowdown. This is normal when you see these type of layoffs. This is normal when you see these type of bankruptcy. It's normal when you see retail contracting and housing declining. It's normal to have a GDP at 0.5%. And that's the manipulated number. The real GDP number is in the negative territory. This is not normal. This is an economy that is rapidly declining, moving into a collapse, and it's going to accelerate as we move forward. And when you start hearing the Fed out there pushing the idea of negative interest rates, pushing the idea of QE4, pushing the idea that everything is okay, and they're going to be doing all of this for you, the people. This is when you need to start to worry. This is when you have to look around and say, okay, we are in big trouble. It's going down fast. And these are all the signs that we should be watching, continually watching, and everyone at this point should be ramping up their prepping efforts. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.